Hi guys, hope everybody's well and enjoying their day. Just a quick one, just finished work and I thought I'll quickly shoot a video. But I want to talk today about sometimes you got to lose to win. Sometimes you're going to have to lose some things in order to gain some things. You might have to lose that house, you might have to lose that job, you might have to lose that relationship, friendship, you might have to lose that car. Understand when we go through those things, it's part of the setup for the bigger blessing. And I know it's difficult because we hang on to those things. Sometimes we've got that vice like grip on the things we have and the things we own. We've got that pythonic hold, that attachment to things. So when we come out of that job or we lose something, it can be a really difficult process. It can send us into seasons of all sorts, including depression. And so we hold on to those things. But more often than not, when God's trying to push you into a new season, He might snatch some things up in the process because He knows you're so committed to that job that you've been at for however many years that you're never going to leave. And so He might put a redundancy on the table, or you're so loyal to a fault that although that relationship's not serving you, you're not going to leave. And so sometimes He puts those things in place in order to move us into that next place so that He can bless us. But the thing is, we can only get that blessing if we surrender. That's the only way we're going to get it. And so often we're so moved by the mess, we're so moved by what's happened, that we often don't put ourselves in a place of surrendering so that God can bless us. So many of us get moved by the mess. We get pushed down, bogged down. We end up in depression because we've lost that job, or we look at it like, we can't come back from it. The car got repossessed, the house got foreclosed, and therefore we go into this dip, and therefore God can't bless it. And don't get me wrong, we're all going to take a dip because there's that initial shock. But you have to get to that place of surrender so that He can give you the blessing that is. We can't fathom in those seasons what it's going to look like. There's so many times that we go through things and we cannot see for the life of us how any blessing can come out of it. Like we're going through it and it looks like this storm's too big, but there is no storm too big for Him. And we got to be okay with losing to win. I can't tell you how many perceived setbacks there have been in my life that I couldn't fathom how I was going to come out of it. But all it took was that mustard seed size faith for God to move mountains. It just took that mustard seed size faith for Him to show up and bless way more than I could have ever asked, thought, or imagined. But it takes surrender. Once I've seen it, it became easier. That's where my trust for God has come from. Yes, we read, but seeing His works and knowing that in these seasons when it seems like a setback or it seems like a loss, that's a setup for a win. That's a setup for a win. The devil wants us to sit in it. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So if we sit in it, he knows we're never going to see the victory. We're never going to even see that blessing that was meant to come out of that situation, because we're bogged down, self-soothing with our drink or whatever it is that we do to hold us over because we can't see the bigger picture. Surrender. Surrender it to God, because it's in those seasons that He's going to lift you up and He's going to bless you way more. Now, I know when we hear these messages sometimes, especially from people that we don't know, it can sound cliche. I'm living proof. I've seen it, and I've seen it not just, I've seen it over and over and over again. So much so that I've got to a point that when I get things or I see things that may not look the way I want it to, I tell God, have your way, because I know He's such a faithful God. He's not going to leave me hanging, and He's not going to take from me what's for me and what's good for me. So whatever it is, though it may seem like a setback, though it may seem like a loss, I'm going to take it, because I know that his win is always bigger. It's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift, and it's a mindset that the world we live in doesn't condition us to think like, because we're so used to the perception of what man can see. His ways aren't our ways, and he is not limited by the things that we go through or the things that we see. It's a mindset shift that I hope you can get into, because if you can, the abundant living that is tied into that is beautiful. It's beautiful. So understand, sometimes you got to lose to win. Yeah, God always comes through. He always does. He always does. But it's going to take faith. It's going to take cutting off that control of how do I fix this. He can't fix it if we're fixing it. So we've got to let go, let God, and let him have his way. But I hope you all have a blessed rest of day, and hopefully we'll catch up soon. Take care. Bye.